Good morning and welcome to Vintage Times. My name is Kathy Rager and I'm the Senior Services Coordinator for Downers Grove Township. Our Township Human Services Department and Supervisor's Office is a connection and referral resource for residents of our township. Additionally, we support local youth and senior service programs with various activities, and we help facilitate some of these programs as well. Our last month's program, I interviewed our assessor, Greg Boltz. He was able to share with seniors and other residents what they can do in regards to their property taxes, especially as they get older. On today's program, I am interviewing a case manager for general assistance from our township office. And actually, he's much more than that. I'm hoping this program will help inform the public a little bit more on what general assistance is and what some of the guidelines for this are as well. I'd like to introduce Gary Ostrowski, Director of General Assistance for the Downers Grove Township. So welcome to our program, Gary.
Thank you for coming having today. Me.
Thanks for coming. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been with the township now for 29 years as the Director of General Assistance. I also manage two of the Downers Grove Township cemeteries.
Oh, it's interesting.
Weed Commissioner and Passport Agent.
So it sounds like a lot of responsibilities, probably more than we would figure a township would be doing.
Exactly.
And so what are some of the things that you do in particular during the day at the township office?
Right now we're in the LIHEAP season. That's help with the person's gas and electric bills.
Okay, and do you do what's your general job, throughout the whole year?
General Assistance, which is a welfare program. General assistance is mandated by the state of Illinois.
Okay. Is it run like by state and federal guidelines? How does that work?
It's state guidelines. There's two components to general assistance. One is GA, the other one is emergency assistance. And the guidelines are different for both programs.
Okay, so if you were to give us, and you gave us a little bit of an overview of general assistance, but who does general assistance cover within the township? And is this just for township residents that we do this at our township office?
Each township is responsible for their own GA. We don't go outside of our boundaries.
Okay. Can you tell us what those boundaries are?
Downers Grove goes south side of 39th, north of the Sag Canal, west of County Line Road, and east of Woodward.
Okay.
Those are our boundaries. We're 54 square miles.
Yeah, and I think Downers Grove Township is the largest township in DuPage County.
We're a township and a half.
Township and a half, okay. And so we basically cover all or part of 7 towns and maybe a couple little pieces of 2 more towns, I believe.
Correct.
Including like Lamont and Woodridge, but very small pieces of that. So from what you're saying is that we do general assistance, and many of the other townships within the county also do general assistance. Is that correct?
Correct. It's because it is mandated by state law.
Okay. So, but you in particular are doing Downers Grove Township residents. So who might come to you for general assistance? Why would they be coming to you?
General assistance is designed for basically a single person. Your unemployment has ran out, you've gone through your assets, you're still not working. The grant is $300 per month while you're seeking employment. I have the clients seek 16 jobs a month, join a job club, and they have to bring the sheets in that they've actively looked for work.
Okay. And so how do they document to you when they first come into the office that they're having some problems,
I need letters from unemployment to show that you don't have your benefits have been exhausted. I want to see income tax returns.
And would that be like the previous year? Is that, is there?
From the previous year to see, that, yes, you were working up to this point.
Okay. And is there a tax time, does that switch over again so that now you're looking for the next year, more current?
No. Once the client finds employment, they'll let me know, and then we terminate the case, because it is an income-based program.
Okay. So how is this program funded for the township?
It's through Downers Grove Township residents only. We get no federal or state funding for GA.
Okay, so we're basically taking care of our own.
Correct.
Okay, so it would be available to any residents that might be needing assistance or having an issue.
Correct.
Whether they're older, younger, or otherwise, they can come to you as long as they meet the guidelines for that. Can the public just walk in, or do they need to make an appointment?
I only work by appointment because when you apply for general assistance, you need to provide documentation. I need to see a driver's license, social security card, birth certificates. If you're renting, I want to see a lease. I need to see these documents to prove that you are a resident of Downers Grove Township.
Okay, so just to kind of reiterate that, so they need to prove they're a resident, first of all, so, in order to get that assistance. They need to bring proof of what they have been making, so it might be a Social Security statement or disability or something like that. Driver's license, does everything need to be current,
It has to be current. When you said Social Security, the Social Security card. Now, if a client is pending Social Security disability, then we put them on GA as long as they meet the guidelines, and they will stay on GA until they've been approved for disability.
Okay. And then what happens then? Then
Their case is then terminated.
Okay, because then they have another benefit from Social Security
Correct.
disability instead. So you're kind of an intermediary that, the township?
It's interim assistance.
Okay, that makes sense. What are the state and federal guidelines? Is it pretty much what you've been saying, or what can you?
The guideline is for $1,500 a month, gross income, because everybody goes by gross. If you make more than that, I do a budget computation sheet, and then that determines what the grant amount will be.
Okay.
If you're over the guidelines, there's nothing we can do at that point. We make referrals to other agencies that might be able to assist you.
So the guidelines are basically income based.
Correct.
And so if I come to you by myself, would I have one guideline? But if I have a husband or children, what would happen then?
Okay, general assistance is not designed for a family case. We refer them to the Illinois Department of Human Services, or Public Aid as it was called,
Okay.
for cash assistance.
Okay, so if they're a family,
A family case we would not handle. If it is a husband and wife, we take the spouse for spouse. So if you don't have income, but your spouse does, half of that income is deemed available to that spouse. So we would take that into consideration as income.
Okay, so husband and wife come in, they might be older, maybe their kids are grown, whatever, and she lost her job, but you would use half of his income as part of her income, and
Correct.
and that would help you create a bottom line or a guideline for where if
Correct.
they qualify or not. Okay. And then what can they, what is a time frame for getting this help? So first they have to bring it all, what's the step-by-step process? So first they make an appointment?
They make an appointment, bring the documents in, they have an application that needs to be completed, and other documents that need to be signed. Once that's taken care of, we have 30 days by law to make a decision on the case.
Okay.
But in that 30-day period, I do require them to at least start looking for work, join a job club, so that I can see that you are doing something.
Okay. And then once that's established, so that's like over a month's time or a couple months' time?
It could be within 30 days. We have to make a decision by law.
Okay.
It's either we're going to approve the client or we're going to deny them.
So you see them the first time, then you do a follow-up visit to see how they're doing or if they're making progress.
Right.
And so if they seem to be making progress, then it will
The
carry
grant
on.
will carry on
Okay,
until they have found employment or are approved for Social Security disability.
okay. And so if they're not disabled, but just, I mean, does it all have to do with having a disability, that interim piece, or, is it, I mean, obviously they can get unemployment, too. Do people come to you that are already on unemployment as well?
We have to take that into consideration. That is considered income.
Okay,
And again, that would be under the gross amount before any taxes are taken out.
okay, so their gross unemployment, maybe half of their husband's income if he's working, or, if they're married, or,
Right, this is all
with a
taken
partner.
into consideration.
Okay. And so how long can you carry someone in the interim?
There is no time frame.
Oh, that's great. So, so it can be just, again, so it can go on for a year or
For a year,
6 months?
2 years. I've had a few people on the rolls that are pending disability for the last 3 years.
Wow. Now, what might be holding up that process for disability?
Right now, there's over 700,000 people in the United States pending disability.
Oh, my gosh.
You have to meet their guidelines, which are very strict.
And when you say there,
The Social Security Administration's
So federal guidelines,
to see if
okay.
you're going to be approved and deemed disabled.
okay. So do you have any, I mean, obviously you're one piece in that process because you're trying to carry people on until they can get this. Is there, I mean, do you have to give feedback in that, resolving anything with Social Security, or you're just on that, you're just waiting as well?
I'm just waiting as well.
Okay, so do they get information from Social Security from time to time?
They
or-
will get a letter if they're denied, and they have 60 days in which to appeal that decision. At that point, they have to go and provide more medical information. It could be that records didn't show up. Sometimes the hospital or a doctor's office didn't get the documentation into the administration on time, which will hold up a case. But if you're denied because they find that you're not disabled, then you need to appeal. If you're denied on the second appeal, then you have to make an appointment and you will be scheduled with an administrative law judge. That can take anywhere from 18 to 24 months to see the judge. For our area here, it's in Oak Brook Terrace. But you may be going to Oak Brook Terrace but not seeing a judge here. You may be seeing a judge in New York, in California, and this will all be done on TV.
Oh my, so they might be going to an Oak Brook Terrace office, but the judge might be somewhere
In
else?
another state, correct.
Oh, okay, so it's not, so that office would take care of it, but that judge might not literally be physically there?
Correct, because the cases that they had pending here in our area.
Okay, wow. Well, no wonder some of these cases take a long time. because
Exactly.
If they have to appeal or get further documentation or doctor's notes, whatever they need to get, we're trying to carry them through that process, however long that takes, until they're completely denied, in other words,
Correct.
or approved.
If the person is approved, it takes another 6 months after they get the award letter to get their regular Social Security. If they worked and paid in all their quarters, they'll get everything that they're entitled to. If they haven't met the quarters, they'll get SSI, which is
So when you say the
supplemental
quarters, each quarterly of the year?
that you work.
Okay,
You have to have 40 quarters to
Wow.
get disability.
okay,
If they don't meet that, they would have to get SSI, which is supplemental security income. That gross amount is $750 per month. They basically will get the 2% raise a year, and they get a Medicaid card.
Wow.
But if they didn't work, that's all they're going to get. Some people get $800-900 a month. Some get over $1,000. If you're getting SSI, which is the federal level of welfare, you're only getting $750 per month.
wow, so it's kind of a complicated process, especially proving a disability, so we're trying to carry them through this process. Meanwhile, they may be able to get the Social Security supplemental income as well.
Correct.
Besides the Social Security disability, so these are two different things.
Once the 6-month period goes by, they're taken off of SSI and put onto regular, what they paid into Social Security disability.
Okay, so that could go down or up compared,
That basically will go up.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, because they put in their 40 quarters.
Okay, I gotcha. Do you, do you see, what would you say their age range is for
I've had
the people that you
people
see?
in their 20s, 30s, 40s. There's nothing that's got an age frame on it.
Okay. Do you see some seniors or more
No,
disabled?
disabled, I do see people. Seniors, they come in for the LIHEAP program,
Okay,
and because they're already getting their Social Security.
okay. And I wanted to make sure that we just covered, since you are general assistance, and probably most people don't understand what that is, or they realize it's some sort of assistance, but how does it go? And obviously, we can't, elaborate on every single detail within, a half an hour of this program, but they can always, contact you at our offices,
Correct.
make an appointment to try to see if they might qualify for this. But I know you do other things that are more related to the seniors, but I wanted to make sure that we had this overview of general assistance as well. Does it have to be an emergency to get general assistance?
Not for general assistance. The other component to this is emergency assistance. That's got guidelines also. You have a 5-day notice of eviction. You have a disconnect on your gas or electric. We can help with X amount of dollars one time under emergency.
Okay.
But you need to prove the emergency. And you have to show us how are you going to make next month's payment, say for rent.
Okay.
But if they're already getting a subsidy for rental assistance, Section 8, we don't assist because they're already getting a discount on their rent. They're paying 30% of their income for their rent.
So we're basically here as a soft landing for people that aren't getting any kind of assistance for their rent, and they have for emergency purposes.
Correct.
It's a one-time thing. Is there a certain amount that we give out?
$200 will help with. They have to show that they can make the following month's rent. That's all they can owe with that 5-day notice.
Okay. So they have to have a 5-day notice?
Correct.
Of what, electric turning off, water, whatever, or 5-day notice of eviction is
For
what you're saying.
eviction.
Okay.
If they have a disconnect notice on their utility, we'll be able to assist them with the $100. Now, during the LIHEAP season, we won't help with LIHEAP because they can go to the county and they can get assistance through the county with the federal and state money.
Okay, so beyond us, we can refer out to the county and they will help with, in other circumstances.
Correct.
Or maybe have more extended help,
Well, they will help. If you're disconnected, the county will help you.
if you're already disconnected.
If you're disconnected,
Okay.
under LIHEAP, they can help you get reconnected, but they expect you to pay something towards it.
Okay. Well, before we start talking about LIHEAP, because we keep referring to it, and I want to make sure we are going to cover that, I just want to ask a couple more questions, and then we'll kind of go into LIHEAP. What kind of, let's see, can they get help with their tax bills?
Tax bills we will not assist with. A lot of the charities here in the area will not help either when it comes to having to pay real estate taxes.
Okay. And because, we're already paying, using taxes to,
Correct.
taxpayer dollars to help with the program, then that wouldn't make sense to.
It wouldn't, exactly.
Okay. And then what are some items that general assistance won't cover? What won't we cover? I know obviously that we won't pay the taxes.
Well, see, you keep saying general assistance. General assistance is a flat grant every month.
Okay.
It's $300.
Okay.
Pending disability or employment.
Okay.
Emergency assistance is different. We won't help with the water bill or sewer bills.
Okay. Well, thanks for clarifying that because it's a little confusing, but
Right.
thank you.
That we won't assist with. If they're getting food stamps, we won't supplement their food. Now, if you've got an application pending for food stamps, we can help you out with food voucher until you're approved for your food stamps, and that's usually a one-time. Then we refer to local food pantries.
Okay. So we have the emergency assistance and we have the general assistance. What about drugs? What about prescriptions? I don't have, I have all these prescriptions, I can't pay for them. Is that an emergency type of situation?
We will
Is that
help,
general
depending
assistance?
on what the prescription is, we will help them maybe one time. If not, we do refer them to DuPage County. And there is funding available through the health department and through the county for prescription drugs.
To help with that? Okay.
Correct.
So, and does that usually have to be an emergency or just, I'm just making X amount of money,
Well, you
it's low
have to be
income?
able to prove why you couldn't get your drugs this month.
Okay. All right. So can call the county and
Right.
find out what that,
Yeah, I had to get car repairs,
oh. So if they have
my
something that
furnace
has to be
needed to
done.
be repaired. That is a bona fide emergency.
Okay, so they have to really list a priority that is needed. I have these 5 priorities, and this one had to drop off, and that was the
Exactly.
drugs. Okay, that makes sense. Now, if they're on Medicare Part D, can the drugs be covered?
Because they're already being covered by an insurance.
Okay,
Medicaid, if they're on Medicaid, we won't help with that because they can get it through the state.
okay. Now, I think we maybe go into LIHEAP a little bit. We keep calling, it's easy to call it LIHEAP because it's a really long name. And so what does LIHEAP stand for?
It's Low Energy Assistance Program.
Okay,
It's a one-time payment, or there's a second component to it. It's help with the gas and electric bill, and it is an income-based program. One person is $1,518 gross.
okay,
If you qualify, you'll get a credit on your gas bill and a small credit put on your electric bill
Oh.
for the heating season.
okay,
Some people right now can get up to $440 on their NICOR bill and about $156 or so on their ComEd bill. And that's one time per season. Season runs from September 1st through the end of May,
So you must be pretty busy right now.
definitely.
Okay, so this just started. And when do you start taking calls for the LIHEAP program?
At the end of August.
Okay, so they have to wait till the end of August, and then, because you're still waiting to, till the program starts as well. So they call you on the first day the program starts to make an appointment, or just before it starts?
They can call on the day that we start taking appointments or right before.
Okay,
But I try to hold off until the day that it starts. October and November are senior and disabled,
okay,
and November is if you have a child in your household that's under the age of 5, we can get you in. If you have a disconnect notice, we can get you in for LIHEAP. Starting December 1st, it's the general public. Anybody can apply.
And you're saying that this program runs from October 1st
Through the end of May.
Through the end of May. So there's nothing during the summer that they can do? Is that mainly because maybe energy bills
Well,
perhaps might go down?
they did
or-
away with the summer program about 3 years ago.
They did. Okay, so so they want to get in, and can they just walk in?
No, it's by appointment only. Documentation needs to be brought in. We need to see if you rent, your lease, Social Security card, proof of your income,
Okay,
and your gas and electric bill.
okay,
And Social Security cards has got to be for everybody, including anybody that lives in the household.
and should their Social Security, and I've noticed this with senior services as well, they really need to keep their Social Security addresses, driver's license, all of their information with current addresses, correct?
Correct.
I think that seems to be extremely important right now, that everything, when you're applying for anything in the system, that it all kind of jives, that,
Correct.
so that if they change an address, they need to update that right away, whether it's their state ID, driver's license, Social Security number, anything like that, because they have to bring in, bills for you as well?
Right, but sometimes they will have a bill that's being mailed, say a senior citizen. That bill might be going to one of their kids' homes, but I have to check the service address to make sure it's within in Downers Grove Township.
Okay, all right, so they might be
But the
living with
bill
a
might,
child.
right, but the bill might be going to the child's house instead of directly to the senior's home.
Is that a problem?
No.
Okay,
No, because they go by service address.
okay. So it sounds like there's some great resources out there for seniors who are low income that need some help with their energy, and it's strictly like
Correct.
NICOR and ComEd, the
Right.
gas and electric. Okay. Are there times that you make referrals for clients to additional resources, and what are some of those?
Rental assistance, if we can't help, we refer them to DuPage County Catholic Charities. If they're unable to help, then we'll refer them to one of the local charities in the area. Love
Okay.
Christian Clearinghouse, Fish, one of the churches.
And Fish Food Pantry and Clothing Closet is actually located in the township building. We don't run that program.
Correct.
But it's actually housed in our building. So they
Correct.
would have to contact Fish or come in one day and speak with Ruth Anderson.
Right, there is a financial line for Fish, and one of their volunteers will then call back, and they're going to interview you over the phone to see if they're able to help you
Okay.
with the rent, gas, electric, whatever it might be.
So as long as they're within their boundaries and their guidelines for Fish, they might be able to get some additional assistance or
Correct.
assistance they may not get somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to, leave our, leave our audience with, about general assistance and LIHEAP?
Just, if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at the township office, and we'll be able to answer your questions.
So they can email you?
They
And
can
we'll be
email
posting
me.
that, yeah,
Or call the township office. I'm there Monday through Friday,
okay.
and I'll be able to answer your questions for you.
Now, when do you see people for appointments?
From 9 in the morning till about 2 in the afternoon.
And are there certain days that you
No.
schedule them?
Except for LIHEAP, that is done on Tuesday and Wednesday only.
Okay, so if they're going to call to make an appointment for LIHEAP, they need to contact you at the township office. You do it between 9 and 2
Right,
on Tuesday and Wednesday only for LIHEAP.
for LIHEAP.
So they have to call, make an appointment, and to schedule this out.
Correct,
Because you get quite a few people at this time of year, correct?
correct.
Okay, because I know I've seen a lot of people coming in and out of the office.
Right now, I'm up to about 210 phone calls that I've taken for the month of October.
Oh, my goodness, wow.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great that people are understanding that resource is available, but kind of sad that many people need that kind of assistance.
Well, it's just not LIHEAP, it's for everything that they'll be calling.
Okay.
For, that they're disconnected, rental assistance, car repairs, which we do not do.
Well, Gary, this has been pretty enlightening, and I know we could probably do another half an hour on this, but I really appreciate your coming in today and talking with us about this. So they can contact our supervisor's office. That phone number will be posted at the end of the program. They can email you. They can call Human Services. We'll provide that number as well. And we can give some resource and referral, which is what we do well over at the
Definitely.
township. And they can come in and talk to us or make an appointment to see you.
Correct.
And thank you so much for coming
Thank you
today
for
and
having
helping
me.
out.